Why did solo leveling get popular? So I was reading an article about what computers' metaphor might be. For those who don't know, metaphors make it easier to grasp and preserve concepts, mostly things invisible to the eye. The Bible is full of stuff like that, not that I read it. This article, The Machine That Broke the Universe, is also on how computer RAM is slowly changing the perception of time in the public conscious. When I was reviewing solo leveling, I noticed this system, Mystery. I always liked it, even though I liked the headcanon of the two liminal style to clone air endings more. The system revived Sang-woo once. From then on he had it like an interface nobody else can see. What's important is what he and it can do, and Sang-woo's main ability of necromancy. Only, you see, it's not quite that. They aren't zombies or skeletons, but shadows. And as usual, I can always cope saying that my theory is true because the author unconsciously wrote it, it's a reflection, re. Whether this was intended or not, let's explain this theory. What Sang Jin-woo's ability is. First of all the facts and connections. In the last episode he rebirthed Sila Ming and says that he could hear him speaking. A weaker human he rebirthed could only act in camaraderie like a lion might. The Foot Knights and soldiers might have even less consciousness. Meanwhile, superior ranked shadows have more sophisticated behaviors, thought and speech. This clearly means that a part of their consciousness is following them to this eternal warrior state. No memories seem to have followed them into rebirth yet. I didn't read the manhwa. Only Sang Jin-woo revived once with all the memories. It's like the system gave him a bit of its own abilities. This is just a hunch, but note Mandelbrot fractal, which also appeared in the article. Okay, now I'm grasping at stars. What about this? Later, I see two magicians who can open portals. That's where my idea that the system gives its own powers to certain individuals comes from. Only these portals are the dungeon portals. So let's play a little with Sang-woo's Arise ability, drag it all into my playfield of high int stat, just justify it by saying this is a story which comes from the mind. The computers do math, which a mind also does, it's all mind based. So if Sang-woo can arise shadows of past warriors and preserve parts of their consciousness, if these warriors were great ideas, Sang-woo would be able to take lessons from the world without having to experience the hardship it took to get them, which is the ability that makes humans obey. Yeah, that's it. I'm sorry for building so much hype and repeating myself. It's a short video anyways. So let's log in and go crazy. This is even more far-fetched, but you could perhaps take ideas from different cultures and even different times. I heard a theory that ideas are psychic agents, which they aren't literally, but this concept is so memorable and actually sums up a lot of other factors and how they end up seeming. So let's just run with that. That ideas are entities which pop in almost like memories. Solo leveling doesn't really change its universe's laws when Sang Jin-woo is in the demon realm, or hell realm, or a dungeon, or real world. Solo leveling's fantasy is realistic. Dungeon creatures can settle in the human world like any animal. I've had a hunch myself that all dungeons in the hell realm are the future colliding with solo leveling's current present time. In that case, Sang-woo will be able to absorb ideas from the past and future too, like the Knight Commander he met in a dungeon. This is a roundabout way of getting my crazy theory to work, but I'll take what I can get. Even though only he has the system, everyone can enter the dungeons, which would be the future world. So the system enables understanding and interacting with this future, beside like all the humans killing monsters. He can talk to monsters and kill them then, and put them on his side. Sang-woo can enter the future somewhat voluntarily, using the system's suggestions through quests and items it gives. So my idea is close, but if it's not my theory of the soldiers being ideas of the past and future, it's perhaps that Sang-woo should be in the middle, the capability to order what looks like chaos to the city and civilians, portals showing up all around, but this system is linked to these things, and it gives them unique passages. In this case, I guess it'd be a take on free will or something, and Sang-woo being a bit more free across time, if we still take the idea of past and future colliding, which is just a hunch. I've been shocked drawing this whole time anyways. It's also not fleshed out enough. Well, let's go! Sang-woo crying shows that humanity can be preserved through these insane heights on the level universe of time travel. And this last bit of Sang-woo being surrounded by void, when arising the strongest shadow yet, is perhaps of him being replaced by pure idea, or pure skill of sorts, close to ego death. Maybe being. Maybe. Sang-woo is becoming timeless data, accepting these psychic agents. Wonky. At one point I decided to let this video be purely thematic. A bunch of ideas came together in me making this video, to the point where I was terrified that my life was taken over for a brief time, just seconds. Jinwoo got a fractal of the system's power. It trickles down like that. Time is an illusion and solo leveling exposes that. Sangwoo is the only one who can improve his stats. In other words, he is potentiality. When all of time happens at once, in the universe's eyes, it makes the ability to perceive time a potential to influence cause and effect past an insect's impact. Insects are probably all about which reflexes get triggered in which order, but not humans. Right? Right? So yeah, this is probably solo leveling's meaning at its simplest. The story of breaking out of reflexes. Don't be a reactionary, something like the wise man does the same whether he's happy or sad. Get closer, what's missing? Did I say enough in the video? Being able to perceive time means more so being able to abstract, to look at a series of reflexes, basically pattern seeking. So yeah, what Albert Einstein called insanity, that's what humans are not supposed to be. Separate from our instinctual responses, like receptors adjusting to stimulus, we get to be, I'm going all in now, we get to be unpredictable. We get to adjust to stimulus before receiving stimulus. Wait, that can be a bad thing. What am I even doing? This is the last thing I needed to address. It connects back to my first seemingly lukewarm judgment of what makes Sangwoo unique, extracting its real-world implications. Remember, it's meaningless to awe. In fact, awing makes you weaker. You need to use and improve gifts. Still not done? These lockers in the ending are all the different possibilities. Sangwoo is given a key. Before he was always dodging. Any slight deviation would mean death as the weakest hunter. That's why the system shows him. He has experience taking the best path. But at the same time, the system seems to have its own goal. When Sangwoo's leadership is inserted into his shadow army, what was inserted into Sangwoo when the system revived him? It trickles down. And either the system's influence, or he himself noticing that he's become Machiavellian through its given abilities, is the self-conflict shown in the openings and endings. I'm starting to lose all doubt. Solo leveling really is about this. About what? I wanted to end the video about 3 times already. Fine. Here's the thing I've been circling this whole time. It's useful to know that time is an illusion, that life is a series of reflexes, cause and effect. Imagine black and white repeating on a line. Each time the color changes, an event happens. Between all these events there are surely some dependent on past events. Like putting one foot before the other, walking is dependent on events that impact each other. And then there are even some that are separated by more related and unrelated events. The synchronicity, Mandela effect, boiling water. If you'd stay to look at it, would be an event that isn't separated by other events in your head, decided by how closely you look. Water simmers before boiling. All I'm saying is that skills are real. So let's increase the difficulty to Sang Jinwoo. This is intelligence, agency. This is what the system aids in. You can apply it to any skill, get better at harnessing events, creating luck, synchronicities, learning skills that are only possible because random doesn't exist. On this border, Sang Jinwoo can fight. He's like the first man who made a spear 400,000 years ago. This is solo leveling.